January 2007, a company that makes its money mailing red envelopes full of DVDs to people's homes announces that it's going to start streaming movies over the internet. The selection is 1,000 titles, the picture quality is terrible, most Americans are still on connection so slow that a single movie buffers every few minutes, the technology isn't ready, the content isn't there, the infrastructure barely exists, and the company's entire business, every dollar of revenue, every subscriber, every red envelope in every mailbox in America is built on physical discs, DVDs, the thing that people drive to a store and pick up or wait 2 days to receive in the mail. That's the business. That's what works. Reed Hastings, the founder, doesn't care. He's been telling people for years that all entertainment will eventually come into the home over the internet. His own chief content officer, Ted Sarandos, thinks he's crazy when he first hears it. The studios think it's a joke. Wall Street doesn't understand it. Netflix has 6.3 million DVD subscribers. It's finally profitable. The model works. And Hastings wants to destroy it. He wants to take a company that has spent 9 years building the most efficient DVD by mail operation in the world. The warehouses, the sorting machines, the envelope design, the postal relationships, all of it, and pivot to a technology that doesn't work yet, for a market that doesn't exist yet, on infrastructure that can't handle it yet. The stock is trading around $20 a share. The company is worth about $1.5 billion. For context, Blockbuster, the company Netflix has been fighting for 7 years, is still generating $5 billion in annual revenue. Blockbuster has 9,000 stores. Netflix has a website and a dream about bandwidth. Nobody outside the company understands that this moment, this janky, low-resolution, barely functional streaming launch is the beginning of the end of how the world consumes entertainment. Not the end of movies, not the end of television, the end of how those things get to you. The physical distribution of entertainment, the stores, the shelves, the return by dates, the late fees, the TV schedules, the appointment viewing, all of it is about to be replaced by a button that says play. And the company making that happen is a DVD by mail operation run by a guy who taught math in Swaziland. Within 15 years, 325 million people will pay Netflix every month. The company will spend more on content than any studio in history. It will operate in 190 countries. It will produce shows in 50 languages. It will be worth more than Disney. But in January 2007, it's a DVD company that just launched a feature nobody asked for, on technology that isn't ready, in a market that doesn't exist. To understand how we got here, we have to go back to the beginning. Hey, this is Yarrow, and welcome to Corrp, the podcast that tells the complete story of the world's most consequential companies. Today's company is Netflix, the full history, where it came from, how it survived, why it matters, and what we can learn from it. So before we get into it, a few things. Corrp is a show about understanding companies deeply, not the headline version, not the Wikipedia summary, the whole thing. If you want to know more about what we do, that's at corrp.com. This episode is AI assisted. The research, the initial writing, the script, a lot of that is done by AI and I curate and edit it. What that means in practice is that some dates, some numbers, some details might be slightly off. If you hear something and think, wait, that doesn't sound right, it might not be. I'd rather tell you that up front than pretend we nailed every single data point. This is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. The voice you're hearing is also AI. It's a clone of my voice. It handles long-form narration really well, and if you listen on double speed, it's actually great, but names and foreign words can get a little weird. If a pronunciation sounds off, look it up. The full timeline, the financial data, and all the sources for this episode are at corrp.com/Netflix, and if you've got feedback, corrections, or you just want to tell me I got something wrong, my email is yarrow@corrp.com. Reed Hastings was born on October 8, 1960 in Boston, Massachusetts. His father, Wilmot Reed Hastings Sr., wasn't just a lawyer. He was the general counsel of the United States Department of Health, Education, and Welfare under the Nixon administration. That's not a small job, that's a man advising on policy that affects millions of Americans. The family split time between Boston and Washington, D.C. Reed, as a boy, visited Camp David, the presidential retreat. This is the world he grows up in. Government isn't abstract to him. Rules exist to solve problems. Scale is something you think about at dinner. His mother, Joan Amory Loomis, came from a completely different tradition. She was Boston Brahmin, old money, New England aristocracy. Her great-grandfather was Alfred Lee Loomis, a prominent figure in American science and finance. But here's the thing about Joan. She was repulsed by high society. She actively taught her children to disdain inherited privilege. She wanted them to earn what they got. That combination, a father in the machinery of federal government, a mother who rejected the world she came from, creates a very particular kind of child. A child who believes in systems but distrusts entitlement. A child who thinks about scale but values merit. Reed goes to Buckingham Brown and Nichols School in Cambridge, Massachusetts. Before college, he sells vacuum cleaners door to door. That detail matters. It tells you something about the kind of person he is before he becomes the kind of person he becomes. He's willing to knock on strangers' doors. He's willing to hear no. He's willing to do the unglamorous thing. He goes to Bowdoin College in Maine. He studies mathematics. He graduates in 1983, and here's where the story gets interesting. Literally within hours of receiving his diploma, he boards a flight to Swaziland. Swaziland, which is now called Eswatini, is a small nation in southern Africa. Reed Hastings is a Peace Corps volunteer, and that's where they've assigned him. He spends 2.5 years teaching mathematics at a school called Helelehech School in the rural northwest of Swaziland. The school has about 800 students. They're motivated, they want to learn. Hastings teaches them mathematics and an introductory beekeeping course, a side detail that tells you something about the kind of teacher he is. Someone who doesn't just follow the curriculum, but who tries to make it practical. It's in Swaziland that Hastings has the thought that shapes everything that follows. Teaching in that environment, seeing what motivated students could do with almost nothing, he realizes that entrepreneurship doesn't have to be terrifying. If you can create an environment where adults are that motivated, you can accomplish anything. When he returns to the States around 1985 or 1986, he knows he wants to build something. He takes a job at a company called Adaptive Technology. It's a software company. He isn't the founder. He's learning the mechanics of how software gets built and sold at scale. After that, he goes to Stanford. He gets a master's degree in computer science in 1988, and in 1991, he founds Pure Software. Pure Software makes a product called Purify, a memory debugging tool designed for C and C++ programs. In the early 1990s, every major software company on Earth is using these languages, and every single one has the same problem: memory management bugs. Developers lose weeks hunting for them. Purify catches them in hours. The early customers aren't small startups. They're Sun Microsystems, they're Silicon Graphics. They're the giants. Pure Software is solving a real problem for real companies. The company grows. By the mid-1990s, Pure Software has merged with Integrity Software to become Pure Atria Corporation. But it has a problem, and the problem is what Hastings learns from it. As Pure Software scaled, Hastings becomes obsessed with process. Every error gets a new process to prevent that exact error from happening again. This makes sense as a strategy, but what actually happens is counterintuitive. As the number of rules increases, the number of talented people who can tolerate those rules decreases. High-caliber people look at a system full of rules and think, I don't need this, I can work somewhere else, and they leave. Hastings describes this himself with remarkable clarity. He says, what we failed to understand is by dummy-proofing all the systems, that we would have a system where only dummies wanted to work there, which was exactly what happened. He also says, with declining talent density, you need a bunch of rules to protect against the mistakes. And that only further drives out the high-caliber people. It's a vicious cycle. The company also brings in experienced managers from bigger companies to professionalize it. what had started as a scrappy place where good ideas could move fast becomes corporate. The engineers who joined because they could see their code making a difference start to feel the weight. And Hastings realizes something that becomes the foundation of Netflix. We realize that with the right density of talent, there is very little process needed. Rules are there to protect you from people who don't have good judgment. But if you only hire people with good judgment, you don't need rules. The lever isn't process. The lever is talent density. This lesson, this specific understanding of how organizations scale, is so crucial to what happens next that I need you to understand it deeply. Because when Hastings walks into the Blockbuster meeting in 2000, and when he builds the Netflix culture, and when he creates the recommendation algorithm, and when he makes the decision about original content, he is operating from this principle: you build organizations by hiring people you trust and then trusting them. In 1997, Pure Atria sells to Rational Software for about $750 million. Hastings comes out of it with money. He isn't ready to retire. And so he is driving on Highway 17, the road between Santa Cruz and Silicon Valley, carpooling with a man named Marc Randolph, and they're talking about ideas. Marc Randolph was born on April 29, 1958 in Chappaqua, New York. His father, Stephen Bernays Randolph, was an Austrian-born nuclear engineer who later became a financial advisor. His mother, Muriel Lipchik, was from Brooklyn and ran her own real estate firm, making her one of the early female entrepreneurs in her community. Marc was the eldest child, but the family connection that matters most to this story runs through his father's side. Marc Randolph's great uncle was Edward Bernays, who was Sigmund Freud's American nephew, and who is basically the man who invented public relations as we know it. Bernays is the guy who, in the 1920s, convinced America that women should smoke cigarettes by reframing cigarettes as torches of freedom. He understood that you don't sell products, you sell the idea that a product represents. Somewhere in Randolph's DNA is an understanding that desire isn't something you discover, it's something you create. Randolph's first job out of college is at Cherry Lane Music Company in New York, where he's put in charge of the mail order operation. He teaches himself direct mail and marketing techniques, how to reach customers, how to measure response rates, how to optimize a campaign for maximum return. He later co-founds the US version of Mac User magazine, further developing his theories about using direct mail to influence and retain customers. By the late 1980s, he's building direct-to-consumer marketing operations at Borland International, the software giant. He ends up at a company called Integrity QA, which gets acquired by Pure Atria. And suddenly Randolph is working with Reed Hastings. When Pure Atria sells to Rational Software, Randolph doesn't get as much money as Hastings does. He wasn't the founder, but he's secure and he's carpooling with Hastings from Santa Cruz to Silicon Valley because they both live in the area. In those car rides on Highway 17, something happens that changes everything.
Reed and I lived in the same town, and we had been in the habit of carpooling to work together every day. So we just made our carpooling sessions into brainstorming sessions.
They start brainstorming. What if they could sell something direct to consumer that usually requires a middleman? They think about personalized baseball bats. They think about shampoo delivery on a recurring schedule. They're looking for a product category that's inefficient, where there's friction between the seller and the consumer. Randolph has a framework. It needs to be a product people want, light enough to ship efficiently, and something where the economics improve at scale. They go through dozens of ideas, none of them stick. Then they think about DVDs. DVDs are new. The format just arrived in the United States in 1997. It's a disc, like a CD. It's much smaller than a VHS tape. It takes up less space. It's faster to ship, and it's the format of the future. To test the concept, Randolph buys a CD at a music store. Nobody has a DVD yet, but a CD is the exact same physical size. He puts the CD in an envelope, he pads it with a greeting card, he addresses the envelope to Hastings' house in Santa Cruz, and he mails it. The cost of the stamp is 32 cents. The CD arrives undamaged. That's the moment. A piece of physical media the same size as a DVD can be mailed across the country for 32 cents, and it arrives in one piece. You don't need a store, you don't need a shelf. You need an envelope and a stamp. They incorporate on August 29, 1997. Hastings puts in $2.5 million and takes 70% ownership. Randolph becomes the first CEO with 30%. The company is called Netflix. It stands for Internet Movies. The name was actually supposed to be FlexFlix, but the domain isn't available, so they go with their second choice. Building the website falls to a small engineering team working out of a cramped office in Scotts Valley, California. It's 1997 and 1998. E-commerce barely exists. Amazon has been selling books online for 2 years and is still losing money. PayPal doesn't exist yet. Randolph is essentially building a mail order operation on top of an internet nobody fully trusts yet. The site is basic: a catalog, a search function, a shopping cart, and a way to take a credit card. No streaming, no recommendations yet, just a grid of DVD covers and a checkout button. They spend months testing it, breaking it, fixing it, testing it again. Then there's the inventory problem. They launch with 925 titles. In April 1998, the DVD format is barely a year old. It launched in the US in March 1997. There aren't that many DVD titles in existence yet. Netflix's catalog at launch represents a significant chunk of everything available on the format, and they have to buy it. Every disc purchased outright at wholesale prices, somewhere around $15 to $20 per copy. For popular titles, they need multiple copies. They're spending real money just to have something to mail out. It's a retail business with inventory risk before it's ever an internet business. Later, starting in 1999 and into the early 2000s, Netflix will negotiate revenue-sharing deals with the studios directly. Studios provide discs at low or no cost upfront in exchange for a cut of the rental revenue. That arrangement is transformative for the economics, but at launch, they're just buying stock the old-fashioned way. Netflix launches publicly on April 14, 1998, with those 925 titles.
Now, the company we launched on April 14th, 1998 bears very little resemblance to the Netflix that you know.
To drive first orders, 137 come through on day one. Randolph works his direct marketing playbook. He reaches out personally to people in the tech community. He sends emails, he calls in favors, he gets the word out through the network of early internet users in Silicon Valley who are exactly the kind of people who own DVD players and like the idea of ordering movies online. The launch gets picked up by a few tech blogs and early internet news sites. It isn't a massive marketing campaign. It's Randolph doing what he's always done and finding the right people and telling them about something they didn't know they needed. And then they crash. 137 orders and the site goes down. For a company that just spent months building the thing, it's equal parts embarrassing and exciting. It means people actually showed up. They have about 30 staff members. And yes, in those early days, they're packing DVDs by hand. Someone picks the title from the shelf, slides it into a red envelope, seals it, labels it, and either drives it to the post office or drops it in a mailbox. The red envelope is Randolph's idea, and it's more deliberate than it looks. The distinctive color makes it recognizable in the mailbox, and the padded design protects the disc. But the operation behind it is entirely manual. There's no automation, no sorting machine, no conveyor belt. There's a stack of DVDs, a stack of envelopes, and a team of people doing it by hand. The initial model isn't subscription, it's pay per rental. You pick a DVD on the website, they mail it to you, you mail it back. $4 per rental plus $2 postage. The first-year numbers tell the story of just how small this is. In 1998, Netflix generates roughly $1.34 million in revenue. They aren't profitable. They're burning through Hastings' investment. But Randolph and Hastings are already thinking about what comes next. How do you get people to actually use this thing? The answer comes from one of the most elegant customer acquisition strategies in early internet history. By July 1999, Netflix has struck partnerships with nearly every major DVD player manufacturer in the world. Panasonic, Philips, Sharp, JVC, Kenwood, Mitsubishi, Sony, Toshiba, RCA, Thomson Consumer Electronics, and Pioneer. These companies collectively represent roughly 95% of all DVD players shipped that year. The deal is simple. Netflix coupons are inserted on top of DVD players in retail boxes. When a customer opens the box to install their new player, The Netflix coupon is the first thing they see. This solves a chicken and egg problem. Consumers don't want to buy DVD players because DVDs aren't widely available in retail stores. But now, every new player owner has immediate access to Netflix's library of over 1,000 titles. In September 1999, Netflix makes the move that changes everything. They introduced the subscription model. For $15.95 a month, you can rent unlimited DVDs. No late fees, no per transaction punishment, no return by dates. You keep the DVD as long as you want, and when you mail it back, they send you the next one. This is the opposite of Blockbuster's model. Blockbuster makes hundreds of millions of dollars a year from late fees. Late fees aren't a bug in Blockbuster's system, they're the feature. The company's entire economics relies on customers failing to return tapes on time. Netflix's entire economics relies on customers succeeding. They want to align their incentives with the customers. This is the lesson from Pure Software in a new form. Trust people. Align with them. Don't extract from them.
The philosophy behind the subscription model is simple but radical for 1999. If you treat customers well, they'll stay. If you punish them, they'll leave. Blockbuster's model punishes failure. Netflix's model rewards loyalty. That alignment becomes the foundation of everything that follows. The culture deck, the original content strategy, the algorithm, the international expansion, every major decision Netflix makes for the next 25 years traces back to this principle. In February 2000, Netflix introduces another weapon, the free trial. Sign up, put in your debit card, get a month free. If you don't cancel, you're automatically billed. It's a negative option model, untested, controversial internally, but it proves transformative. People try the service, they like it, and most of them stay. The company is also spending $16.4 million on sales and marketing in 1999 alone. They focus on online search, affiliate programs with tech blogs and review sites, and PR. No expensive TV advertising. They're going after early adopters in tech communities. By the end of 1999, Netflix has about 239,000 subscribers. Revenue is roughly $5 million. They aren't profitable, they're burning cash, but they have something that's going to matter: data. Every rental is data. Every customer choice is data. Every return is data. And early on, early enough that most people miss it, Netflix understands something that changes the trajectory of the company. They aren't a video company, they're a data company. Every time a customer rents a movie, rates a movie, or returns a movie, Netflix learns something about what that person wants. Nobody else has this data. Blockbuster knows what's on its shelves. Netflix knows what's on its shelves and what each individual customer wants from them. That's a completely different kind of intelligence. They build a recommendation algorithm. It's called Cinematch. It asks customers to rate movies. It looks at patterns in those ratings. It finds other customers with similar patterns. It recommends movies based on what similar people liked. It's collaborative filtering before collaborative filtering is a common term. Cinematch uses statistical linear models with a lot of data conditioning. It's not the most sophisticated algorithm in the world, but it predicts within half a star 75% of the time. And half of customers who rent a Cinematch recommendation give it 5 stars. Data drives behavior. Marc Randolph serves as CEO through the early years, but by 1998, Hastings has become co-CEO, and Randolph has been gradually eased out of operational control. By 2002, Randolph steps down from his last remaining role as a board member. He disappears from the Netflix narrative so completely that people think he never existed. That's partly by design. Hastings becomes the face of Netflix, and the story gets simplified. But Randolph was there. He came up with the DVD idea. He mailed the test CD. He built the initial website. And then the company he co-founded grew past the point where it needed the kind of leader he was. The revenue progression tells you how fast this thing is growing. 1998, $1.34 million. 2000, $35.9 million, but with a $58 million net loss. 2001, $74.3 million revenue, $21 million loss. 2002, $152.8 million revenue, approaching break even. By 2003, Netflix generates $272 million in revenue and posts its first profit, $6.5 million. By 2004, over $500 million in revenue and $49 million in profit. The model is real. Netflix goes public in May 2002 at $15 per share. The market cap is about $300 million. It has never been profitable, but it has customers, real customers who are using the service and paying for it. By April 2003, Netflix celebrates 1 million subscribers. By 2005, they have 4.2 million subscribers, and they're mailing 1 million DVDs per day.
But in the year 2000, none of this has happened yet. Netflix is still very small and they're completely out of money. The company is in the position where it either finds more capital or it dies. Enter Blockbuster. In September 2000, Reed Hastings and Barry McCarthy, Netflix's CFO, board a flight to Dallas, Texas. They're going to meet with John Antioco, who is the CEO of Blockbuster. Barry McCarthy is the other critical person in the room. He has a bachelor's degree in history from Williams College and an MBA in finance from Wharton. Before Netflix, he was CFO at Music Choice. Hastings hired him in 1999 specifically to be the financial architect of Netflix, to build the model, to take the company public, to make the numbers work. McCarthy will stay at Netflix until 2010, overseeing the IPO and the transition to streaming. After Netflix, he'll become CFO of Spotify and then CEO of Peloton. He's one of the most important executives in the Netflix story, and he almost never gets mentioned. Blockbuster, at this moment, is the 800-pound gorilla of the entertainment rental market. 9,000 stores, every major city in America. The company dominates rental. It dominates late fees. Late fees are the profit engine. The sign in the window says 3 for 3, but if you're late, the real cost is much higher. John Antioco isn't a fool. He's the opposite. What happens next isn't a David and Goliath story. It's a tragedy. A man who sees the threat coming, who understands exactly what Netflix means for his industry, who tries to pivot, and who gets destroyed by his own board, his own debt, and the clock running out on a business model that's been dead for years. Blockbuster's fall isn't about stupidity, it's about structural traps.